Hey everybody, Farmer Jeff here with another Farmer Friday at Blooms and Berries Farm Market. Today we're going to spend our post here in the garden center, and I want to show you my 5 favorite plants that I have to have in my own personal garden at home every year. These are plants that I just love, and I'll tell you why I love each one of them. So the first up is Lantana. You cannot beat this for a couple different reasons. Number one, this plant is spectacular. It's got some different colors in each one of the flowers. Most importantly though, this is a butterfly magnet. They love these things. You plant them in the ground, or in their pot I should say, and the butterflies flock to them all summer long. They do really well. They're a little drought tolerant, not that you can ignore them or abuse them, but if you get a little drier, they can stand that, which is really, really good for your locations that are in full hot sun, out by a pool where you're not watering as often or something like that. So Lantana, there's a whole bunch of different colors, but this is my favorite. This is the Luscious Berry Blend. So love the Lantana. Second, 2 out of the top 5 plants that I have to have in my home garden every year that I just love, love, love. Persian Shield, often underrated because it doesn't really bloom, but you can see just how iridescent the purple in the leaves is. This plant will grow about 3 feet tall, gets a little bit wide. Again, a full sun plant, does well in a pot or in the ground, I found. And I just love this as a nice little accent. You get some silver like Dusty Miller or Dichondra Silver Falls near it, or just some other of the white or the silvers. It really makes that purple pop. Beautiful, beautiful plant, and grows a lot bigger and a lot fuller. Super underrated plant. Plant number 3. I have loved this plant since I was a kid. When I was little, we used to go to the garden centers, and I'd always get to pick out a plant or something along those lines. Mexican heather, it's such a beautiful little delicate flower, blooms all summer long, it stays like a little small shrub, if you will. It is an annual, just like everything else we've talked about here, but this does really well in multiple different options in the ground or in a pot as well too. Full sun, and just a beautiful little delicate plant with all these beautiful little pinkish purple flowers on it. Love, love, love this plant. Very good performer. Now, let's take a trip into the shade. Shade options can be more difficult, but I do have a few favorite for the shade. This is Trinia. So what I like about Trinia is it trails down and it blooms. So blooming in the shade can be somewhat tricky sometimes. Getting a trailing, this fits the bill. It blooms all summer long, and it's beautiful, does really well, blooms, 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 and is super vibrant. Comes in a multitude of different colors. There are some that are more compact that don't trail. We have both compact and the trailing kinds here as well too. But we have some that are purple and we got a little yellow in them, and then you can put some other yellow, like yellow Impatiens or something near them, and it really complements it well. So the trailing and the more compact Trinias are some of my favorites for the shade. But my ultimate, all-time favorite shade plant is the double impatient here. Now this is the Rockapulco Coral Reef color. This has got a little diamond frost and some Silver Falls Dichondra in with it too. But this plant will stand alone. You can put it in a hanging basket, you can put it wherever you want. But these double impatiens are just, they get me every year. I just love these plants. A great option for shade. Has a little bit more interest than a normal impatient that's just the kind of 2-dimension. Now, I know that's my top 5, and I went through 5, 3 sun and 3 and 2 shade. However, I've got a bonus plant for you because I would be remorse to not include an edible. So this is a tomato plant. It's not just any tomato plant. This variety is called 4th of July. There's another one out there very similar called Independence Day. I believe if we don't stock both, we have at least one of them. We have the 4th of July for sure. And what's nice about this plant is it's true to its name. You're gonna get a harvest of tomatoes if you plant now by the 4th of July. It'll be the first tomatoes in your neighborhood, the first tomatoes available. We grow them in our fields to take to our produce stands. Now they're not gonna be super big. They're about the size of a golf ball, and but they're super sweet and they're delicious. And when you're just craving that first of the season, really delicious tomato, you can't go wrong. They fruit before the disease pressure gets hard, like really tough in the end of July and early August. You should have gone through a good amount of fruit, and they bear like the dickens. They just go crazy. So if you get a couple plants of these and you get them enough food and fertilizer and those sorts of things, they do wonderful. It's like a really big cherry tomato, but it really hits the spot, and it really makes you feel like you're an accomplished gardener when you can go out there and get all those. So there's my top 5 with my bonus plant, which is more on the edible range here. Of course, there's always basil and all those other things too, but that's my top 5. It's Farmer Jeff here at Blooms and Berries for Farmer Friday. And I just appreciate you watching the video, and you guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you out here soon.